ShartimusPrime, reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it, taking bad hits, taking bad shit. Subscribe for things.
It's a Tranbot.
Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here doing another Hot Toys figure review on the Hot Toys Special Edition, the amazing Spider-Man 2 movie masterpiece MMS 244 Spider-Man 1/6 scale collectible figure. If you want to get this figure, you can get it at Sideshow Collectibles. Just check the link in the description below and it'll take you straight to Sideshow. And I gotta give a big thanks to two collectors out there that made this review possible. I gotta give a big thanks to the Clipper King, or the Review King now. Check his channel. He does in-depth, thorough Hot Toys reviews, amazing reviewer. And also check out Anthony's YouTube channel. Link is in the description below. He's another collector. Man loves Iron Man figures. He has all kinds of cool displays and shots and everything. But looking at the packaging right over here, man, I think this looks pretty sick. We get this silver little sticker right here. It says Hot Toys Special Edition. I don't know what the Special Edition thing is all about. And we get an embossed Spider-Man. We get some text over here. It's all embossed. And on the side, we get the angle going on in the packaging that's very similar to the Amazing Spider-Man 1. You get some nice patterns over here. A warning label about the Spider-Man and all that stuff. It says Amazing Spider-Man 2 on the bottom. It's Amazing Spider-Man 2 on the top. Then we do the Hot Toys plop over here. Kids are losing landmines. Hot Toys plop. You can see right here we get the credits of the people responsible for creating the figure. If you want to read that, pause it now. And we get a nice picture of Spidey, and then we can just lift this down and oh my god, that looks so sick. Alright, let's get to it and crack this thing open. So here's our brand new Hot Toys Spider-Man figure out of the packaging, and I gotta say right off the bat, I think this is a great figure. I am very pleased with it. I've had this figure for quite a few days, and I've been messing around with it all week, and it's just really, really fun to pose. There's just a lot of options over here for posability that I'm just very, very stoked about it. I think the suit is very cool. There are some QC issues that I will touch on in this video, but for the most part, I think it's an absolutely fantastic figure, man. I'm very, very pleased with this. I like it much more than the first Amazing Spider-Man figure, not just because of the suit, but because of the posability, man. There's more posability here. We have this new thing going on with these interchangeable hands, which I'll talk about in a minute. But first off, I gotta say, I'm very pleased to see the dynamic stand come with the figure. Let's first take a look at that, and then we'll take a closer look at all the accessories, and then Spidey. I think this design and pattern over here is very cool, and he does have his own little plaque over here. It says the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man, and it's all etched in there. I think that looks great. Then there is an interchangeable piece over here where you can see Spider-Man getting electrocuted and whatnot. Now this rod over here is very, very posable, and it is very, very sturdy. And then of course we get that same clip going on over here. All you gotta do is just push this, and you know, it clips, and this is all felted and it's nice and soft. But you can see as I bend this around, this is very, very posable, and it is very strong. Remember, you always want to take a good look at the instructions before you really start messing around with the figure. We got fisted hands over here, we get thwipping hands, we get web line holding hands, we get bullhorn holding hands, we get relaxed hands, and then we get web crawling hands. And the cool thing about these is that we get this new technology over here that instead of replacing the hands entirely, they cut in half right over there. I really like how the fabric is sewn into the plastic piece right over here, so you cannot remove this section, or you don't want to try to anyway. Then you can see that half point open over there, and it has this little magnetic piece, as it does on the other side as well. And unfortunately, both of these popped out, so I had to add some super glue and get it back in there and make sure it was facing the correct way. Then you can just take one of the hand halves over here, we got the thwipping hand, and just plug it in there. And I think that looks pretty good. That's not too bad. It's really smart that they actually cut this half right where there's this cobweb going over here, and I think that looks great. It's almost seamless. Figure comes with 4 different webs. You get these 2 thwipping kind of webs. You can see it has this ball at the end of it. Then we have these 2 longer ones that are more for swinging. I think these actually look pretty good. Not that much better than the older ones or from the Amazing Spider-Man 1, but you can see they have some silver paint over the clear plastic over here, and I think that's pretty neat. Same thing with this longer one. You can see a little bit of that silver paint on those webs. I think that's pretty cool actually. But I actually find myself more often using these spaghetti webs right over here. I have this really long one. Thanks again, Greg, and yeah, it works really, really well for this 12-inch scale. Getting this little plastic piece in here is always weird for me. I always feel like I'm not doing it correctly. I don't know, it's just kind of strange. I'm able to get it to sit there, but there it is. That's actually not that bad. It kind of goes with the web shooter. Then this longer web, I guess you could fit that in there too. So I don't know, still it doesn't really feel quite right. And lastly, Spider-Man comes with a backpack, his winter vest, a scarf, a beanie, plutonium 238 Laven, and a bullhorn. I think this backpack is pretty cool. It feels like they put, like, I don't know, some cotton in there or something to make it a little bit puffy. You have this actual working clip, which I don't want to mess with, but it does have a functioning zipper right over here, and you get one right over here too. You gotta just kind of lift that up, another functioning zipper. And it does have a bendy wire in here, which I think is really awesome. I love that they did that, and you could also adjust it right here like an actual backpack. It looks like a real down vest. I don't know what's inside of it, but yeah, it's got something in there, and it does have a functioning zipper, so you could could just zip this down right over here. I want to be careful though, it's still fragile, but yeah, it looks pretty good. And this does have a bendy wire at the bottom of it, which is really cool. It helps a lot for posing. So you could do that, you could have it curl in, and it'll stay. The best way to put the backpack and the vest on is to have the arms thrown all the way back like that, and then you just take this through here, and there you go. Then here's a closer look at his blue and white scarf. Pretty long. And here's his light blue beanie. I find it works out easier getting my 6 Spider-Man together, putting these accessories on in a specific order. So first I start with the scarf, then I go with the vest, then backpack, and then lastly beanie. So let's switch to that real quick. There it is, and it looks okay. I got a 6 Spider-Man now. Wish they'd given us some kind of other accessories, you know, some like, I don't know, the sore cover or a super long web line or something like that. And to be honest with you, me being from California, I don't really know how to, you know, do the scarf thing. I really like the silver paint apps for this container for the Plutonium-238. You can see it's also painted gold right there. That looks awesome. If you want to, you can use the relaxed palm to hold the plutonium. And the bullhorn looks pretty good too. Some nice sculpted detail in there. You know, it's a bullhorn. Looks pretty realistic. The bullhorn fits very well in this open grip hand right over here. So I was very excited getting this figure, and one of the first things that happened after I opened this thing up, I was like, what that? What that right there? Oh, and then there's more. And then there's more. So this is a QC issue I was talking about. Yeah, we get some grease or something like that. Review King said he had some of this same thing. He said it was glue, and he actually had it around the foot or ankle of his figure. But Budget Stark, aka Anthony, said that he's going to try to see what he can do about getting Hot Toys to replace at least just this head sculpt over here. So that's a huge bummer. That kind of sucks. But other than that, I think it's a pretty cool head sculpt. I think the eyes look very nice. I like the cobweb look and everything. It's a very posable head too. It can look up very far. I like that a lot. But I think I've kind of torn it a little bit from doing that too much, so yeah, you're going to want to be careful. For a quick head comparison, you can see the Amazing Spider-Man 1 head sculpt is a bit smaller than the Amazing Spider-Man 2. They do have the same cut going into the torso. Now, Hot Toys does not recommend doing this, but at one point I was able to remove this head and replace it with the Andrew Garfield head, but now that this is loosened up over here at this ball joint, yeah, you can see that's kind of scary. Comes off right over there, but you can just put it right back on there and make sure that you move the fabric down with it. So same kind of thing happens with the hands too. If you do remove the hand from the peg, you can just push it back in there. You kind of just have to negotiate this fabric so that you don't pinch it or anything and ruin it. And then if you get some wrinkling, you can negotiate. And I like using that word negotiate because you really can move it around wherever you want. If you get a little bunched up right here, you can scoot it all the way upwards and move that into the shoulders where I think it looks a little better, you know. But I think this is a great looking figure for the most part. Kind of tricky to see, but there's that rectangle pattern going on throughout the red sections of the suit. It even continues well into the plastic hand over here. Cobwebs look great. They're made with this gunmetal color, and I think it just looks really awesome, and it's quite durable. I've seen Sean Long's Sam Raimi Spider-Man figure, and those cobwebs look like they're about to come off pretty easily, so I think this looks a lot better. I like how the blue section actually has that kind of hexagonal pattern going on there. I think that's very cool, and I don't really know what to make of this fabric. It is not the same as the one from the first Amazing Spider-Man. It doesn't feel like it anyway. This feels a little thinner. This one feels a little bit stronger. I just rewatched the movie too, and I noticed that there's these seams that are intentionally on the blue sections of the suit. But as we move down here, you can see that there's a little bit of the bunching of the fabric right there around his knees, and yeah, that kind of happens from stretching out his legs a lot from poses and everything that I had him in, but you can move this around if you'd like. And then there's this weird thing going on with these boots over here. If you pull on them, they kind of detach. I'm not going to try to do it on mine, but you just push it right back in and it's okay. And his feet look like they're a little on the big side, but not too bad, and then you get a little bit of extra bunching of fabric, and that bunching doesn't bother me because it helps the articulation. And then looking at the bottom of his feet right here, it looks pretty nice. I'm glad they did away with those sneakers. There's looking at the back of the figure. Again, you can see the bunching right around the butt over there. And the spider logo on the back looks pretty cool. So as I already demonstrated, the head can look up quite a bit, and that is very cool as long as it doesn't rip. But it can look down a lot. He does have neck pivot over here, and it does rotate side to side. Then he does have shoulders that move outward. There's no shoulder issue like the first Amazing Spider-Man, by the way. And they move downward. You can rotate them forward as well. You do get an armpit joint in here too. You really want to be careful with the way you move these around. He does have a bicep swivel over here. He bends at the elbow in 2 places, so you could bend it all the way inward, and the wrists are on the same ball peg kind of thing where you could rotate them side to side and then they hinge up and down, and you could try to move it around as you wish. He does have 2 torso breaks right over here. He has one right in the middle, so you can see that crunch right over there. One thing I gotta say too is that I left this guy in a pose for like 2 days in a full-on crunch pose on his display stand, and I have yet to see like any real creasing going on around here. So I think this material is very durable, and I hope they stick with it. So far it's been proven worthy, except for this little piece right over here at the chin. But anyway, you can bend it all the way forward. You can pivot right over here at the torso. It rotates side to side. I guess you don't want to try to do that too much, because then I could really see this cobweb thing cracking on you, and you don't want that. He does have rotation at the waist. It does crunch a little bit at the waist, and it does move back at the waist too. I mean, you can get him really bent like that, and I think that's awesome. So you get that pivot there as well. The hips move out quite a bit. I don't want to stretch it out more than that, but I think that's a lot. His legs can move all the way up that much. I think that's quite a bit of movement over there too. He has an upper thigh swivel. He has 2 joints at the knees. You really have to make sure you bend both of them to make it look right, and it bends in very far. That is awesome. And then you can see this boot kind of coming apart like how I'd mentioned earlier. Just push that right back in. Now the figure has really good ankle articulation, even though I wish his foot could point downward more than that, but it does move down. It moves up. You can rotate the ankle side to side, and it does have great ankle pivot. That is awesome. This is a 1/12 scale figure, and Spider-Man looks like he's standing right at 12 inches tall. Here's our Amazing Spider-Man 2 figure compared to our Amazing Spider-Man 1 figure. You can see the sequel figure is actually just a little bit taller than the first Amazing Spider-Man. I gotta say, I am very pleased that they went with this costume over here, and it looks like they do have different body molds. And here's Spider-Man compared to the Winter Soldier Hot Toys Black Widow and the die-cast Mark 42 Iron Man. Boing! And to compare this Spider-Man figure to a couple of Raimi-verse figures, here's that wacky Spider-Man figure from Chipunkus, thank you so much. And then here's the 18-inch superposable Toy Biz Spider-Man figure from Spider-Man 2. Here's our Hot Toys version compared to the Marvel Select and the Marvel Legends Amazing Spider-Man 2 figures. And lastly, here he is compared to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. So again, I just think this is an incredible figure. I have been having a lot of fun posing this guy around. I think it is a truly badass Spider-Man. I totally approve. I really like it a lot. I've had a lot of fun taking pictures of this guy and posing him around and everything. So please check out my photo gallery at marvelousnews.com. Link is in the description below, along with the channels of the Review King and Budget Stark. Also, you can find a link for the spaghetti webs over there also. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Welcome to Articulated Comic Book Art.
That's crispy.
Because then it does allow. Whoa.